Hello, welcome pen friends. It's time for my progress report relating to my August 2024 pens and inks. So we are going to go over the report card first because I notoriously always forget to do that if I don't do it right up front. And then we'll flip through the journal pages and I'll talk more about how these combinations are working out. I started out with I think 9 and now I have 11. Something like that. Anyway, I know I have 11 because I filled this whole page and then I had to actually do my report card for one of the inks on its own page. So that's just the way it is and I'm happy with everything that I've inked up. So the first one is the little Kaweco Sport in the Mellow blue. And if we are going to pull out the pens and ink cards, we'll do that on the individual page. We'll see. It depends, because in part 1 of this, which is just Chris's ink pens, you've already seen them. So I gave this an A+, and I eyedroppered it. I like the double broad with that Herbin Kyanite du Nepal so much that I had no qualms about filling up the whole, well, I said I was going to wait, but filling up the whole body of that and eyedroppering it. My ring is driving me crazy. I've got like tape coming loose. I got to figure out something for my wedding ring. Anyway, A+, I love it. Next up was the little pink Jinhao 82 that I put a red ink in, Colorverse Red Shift, and I gave it an A+ too. It's super, super nice, and you'll see in the writing sample in a little bit here. Next up, this is the only pen that dropped below an A+. Can you believe it? And it's not the pen. I think it's the ink. This is the TWSBI Go with a nice broad nib on it and in the clear with Diamine amber. And I love this ink. And when it first starts up, you know, it's really saturated. It's coming out more with when your feed is absolutely full. But if you're a fast writer like me, what I found was that as I go along, it kind of tends to, you know, lighten a little, and the shading is more drastic, which changes the readability. It's still readable, but I really like it is here best. And at the top of the page, and we'll look at that. I gave it a B+ though, because I really like it. It's just that I need to maybe find a nib feed combination that goes better, which could be a number 6 nib and feed, a nice larger, or even an ebonite feed. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's worth looking into because I love the color. I love the ink when it's performing right. I love it in the beginning. So next up was the Benu, wow, all of a sudden I can't pronounce it. Briolette. It just goes out of my mind sometimes, the pronunciation. Briolette. Luminous amber. I gave it a try anyway. With Birmingham Smoke Stack, and I gave that an A++. I absolutely love it. Turns out it's a little lighter than 50 States Texas. I ended up doing them side by side in the ink journal, so we'll be able to look at that. But it's gorgeous ink, just really nice, and it has a green sheen that's really interesting, and a lot of shading. So next up was the Jinhao X750 in pink with Lamy Vibrant Pink. It has a broad Yo-O nib on it, and I gave it an A+. I absolutely love this, and I can see this being one of the inks, because I've got about 3 now that are my favorite pinks. One of them being the Fuchsia de Magellan, the new ink that I actually, is it the only ink I bought this year? I better not say that, because I'll have to look back on my chart. Let's see, what have I done here? Oh no, okay, so in earlier in the year I got the Lamy Dark Lilac, so I got Lamy Dark Lilac and the Herbin ink. So of the 2 inks, yeah, anyway, they're different, but I love that vibrant pink, and it competes with this one, and so on and so forth. Oh boy, my mind is branching out in many directions this morning. Okay, but next up, the TWSBI Eco Transparent Purple with a broad nib. I've got 3 of those transparent TWSBIs with broad nibs on them now, and I'm enjoying them better. I put in Pelican 4001 Violet, and I gave it an A+. Excellent. It's flowy, it's smooth, it's dark, but it's still very purple. I love that in a purple. Actually, this, to me, seems darker than it used to be, but there's a lot of that going on, so who knows. I would actually have to pull out the old ink journal entries to see, you know, is this what I'm really seeing? Or maybe I was using, I know I was using cream paper for a while, and that makes a big difference in how things look. So that would be something to do on a rainy day, pull out and see how some of these older ones compare on this whiter Tomoe River paper. This is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. Okay, so then next up was the TWSBI Eco Transparent Green with TWSBI Forest Green, which I'm having a real fog about where I got this or when. There are two of them that I can say that about. Let's see. I think I determined that these didn't come with the original 6. So I'm confused, and I'm really worried that somebody may have sent these to me. But at the same time, I have a vague memory of ordering them, so, but it could have been something else. So I'm very confused. Anyway, if anybody can either like privately clear that up for me, if you did send them. I remember a few samples, but these are bottles that I ended up getting, the little 18 mil. Anyway, that's been trotting around in my mind too. I love this ink. I gave it an A+, and it just is perfect in the TWSBI Eco with the, you know, that transparent green. You know, it has teal when it comes out in the water brush, and I really love it. And then next up, the third one of the transparent series there, the TWSBI Eco Orange Transparent. Wow, I didn't put, well, I guess that's obvious, but that it's orange. Not really, though. Let's add that in. That's going to drive me crazy. It was the orange. Now I'll have to make sure that I don't smear it when I turn the page. Oh well. Okay, I gave that an A+ also. It's a great orange. Okay, this ring is, I have to take it off because the tape is bothering my finger. Anyway, we'll find some kind of a little gizmo to put there. A+, it's a great orange. It's readable, it's beautiful. It's almost like a burned orange, but I just love it. And then next up was the Jinhao X750, and I'm calling it ivory. I couldn't really, it's not white. I don't know if I ordered white and this is what I got. I can't remember, and I did a bunch of research and I still couldn't figure it out. Because they look white on the computer screen, but this looks very off-white to me. Anyway, it has a broad goulet nib, and I wanted to see how the two browns compared. It wasn't quite fair because the Benu has a little number 5 nib, but it still gave me a good, you know, chance to compare the inks. So that was, yeah, one of my first extra ink ups of the 3, I guess. Maybe I did start with 8. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I must have done 8. I'll have to go watch my video. I must have started with this, and then I added that to compare the brown, and then I added the Lamy Safari in Violet Candy with a, I started out with a medium nib, but I changed it to broad because I wasn't happy with how this ink, Lamy Dark Lilac 2024, I wasn't happy with how it performed in the medium Lamy nib at all. And I thought, well, what's going on here? But the broad nib corrected all of the fuss, so it became much better with the broad nib. And then I'm showing you these last 3 pens because I didn't on the other video. So then the other one is the final one. I couldn't stand it. I had to go and ink up the Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne, the Gold Spot exclusive, with Van Diemen's Maryland. And I am crazy about this combination. When I look at the card itself, I think that maybe it isn't such a great combination. But when I just take the card away and look at how the ink actually appears on the Tomoe River paper anyway, I think it's a lovely combination. Anyway, I gave it an A++. It's just wow. And this is really nice ink in that it puts down a lot of shimmer rather evenly. So far is what I've found to be true, and I love it. I learned about this from Pen Friend Marilyn, and so it wasn't long after trying a sample of it that I had to, whoops, I've got now shimmer all over my fingers. Can you even see that? I don't know. eyesight is wonky with the lighting I have. Anyway, I bought that last year, the bottle, and I love it. So, all right, so that explains, you know, I've got 11 pens inked up. Now, let's go backwards and start flipping through. Let's see if I can move these bottles away. And the kitty. Kitty's there in case we need her for holding on to a pen. Let me make sure we're still in frame. Huh. Okay. I have some really strange set things going on today. Okay, but we won't worry about that. We'll try to stick to the main thing. So the first one, the Kaweco Sport in Mellow Blue. This is the Willie pen. It was a pen friend gift after my cat Willie passed away from pen friend BBR. And anyway, it's a great combination. It's eyedroppered. I love how it looks when the blue looks when you lift it with the water brush. It was Friday that day. Hotter than heck. It's like right straight across. We aren't getting any relief from the heat index, which means it's hot and humid outside. But this is just excellent. I mentioned again that it's one of my favorite color families, and I now have 4 bottles of the J.R. Bond Shimmer inks, and they're really my favorite. They're really the only ones that I don't hesitate if I love the color and I want to buy it. I trust in the brand, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I've got this one, the Fuchsia de Magellan, the Emerald of Chivor, and the Amethyst on De Laurel. So of those, the Emerald is the only one with a gold shimmer. The rest of them are silver. But this was just it is, and it's going to be, I wonder how long it'll take me to use up the ink. I don't think it'll take long because a double broad uses ink fast. So I've really been enjoying that. And next up is the little Jinhao 82. I'm doing this for the benefit of anybody who wasn't here on the other video, just showing you the ink tile. With Colorverse Red Shift, which I have a little 15 ml bottle that came from Pen Friend KS. I try to put all those things though in the description so that I don't spend my time trying to make my memory work better while I'm doing the video. Ooh, that was when I had a sinus headache. Huh. I wonder if I worked outside the day before, because we had some really bad air quality. So that could have been it. Anyway, I'm glad that didn't last very long, because it was awful. And then I started listing other favorite reds. But if you can see how this just maintains its beautiful color all the way through. And this is just a very inexpensive pen. Of course, it's got a nice Opus 88 nib on it. I just transferred the nib over from one of those pens, swapped it. And it just amazes me that I can get such good writing out of a nice, pretty little pen that it sort of fulfills maybe my sailor, dream, but they're out of my price range, really. They really are. I don't think I'd be comfortable even if I was rolling around in money buying them, except for that I have wanted to try a broad nib one, just to try it, like at a pen show. Whoops, I got cats all over the place. Anyway, really, really nice. I'm enjoying that a lot. I wonder how much ink I have left in it. Let's see. Okay, half a converter. So that just shows you with 8 or 11 inked up. So that's going to be, I need to focus on, making sure I evenly distribute my usage. Okay, then next up is the Diamine Amber and the little TWSBI Go. And it's got the broad nib on it. Toby, what's the matter? He's in a box having the time of his life, but it may be disturbing sounds. I hope not. And you see how light this is when you use the water brush to draw it out. In fact, this, on the video, it's probably going to brighten it up, and that could be a little bit problematic in showing you how it really looks. But I don't really particularly like how it looks after the very beginning. In the very beginning, when you pick it up, you get kind of the dark, like up here. See, it's darker, and that's what I like. Then as I go along, it seems to lighten up, and then, I guess I grabbed a Sailor Hokoro 2.0 to try it. Yeah, I want more of the ink on the paper. Makes me just want to get like an ornamental nib, you know, the great big round one, and just go crazy with it. Or a great big Pilot Parallel. Pilot Parallel? Yeah, Pilot. I'm just mix up which company. Okay, but it is good. It was the only one that didn't make the A on a roll this time. And then next up, oh, I got these out of order how they're in here, but the because I had to fix everything so that I could do the two browns together. This is the Jinhao X750 in pink with, oh, and even the ink tiles are out of order. That's okay. With Lamy Vibrant Pink. And I love this. I am so pleased. You know, I was eager to finish my other bottle because I wasn't so crazy about it. But my tastes have changed, and now this, the deeper pink like this kind of reminds me of some other ink, but not quite. Well, no, Caran Dash Divine Pink looks more red, but this to me still looks pink. It's just nice and saturated. It's pretty, it's happy, it's flowy. I love it, and I can see that it keeps up with me too. And I've been writing letters with these, and so yeah, I've been writing quite a few letters. In fact, I got all caught up for about 3 to 4 days, and then letters started coming in again. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want when you're doing pen pals. Okay, so let's get the two tiles. This is the Birmingham Smoke Stack, and this is the Sailor 50 State Texas. And then we'll get the pens that we're using. Okay, let's see. Got the Texas in this one, and we've got the smokestack in the little Benu. Like I said, it's almost not fair because it's a little number 5 nib, but it's got a nice generous broad nib, and I can just see right away, and we can move these to the side so we could see all the rest of the writing, but I could see right away I don't know if you'll still be able to see them at all. No, just half a card, but that's okay. This is lighter, and it surprised me. I thought they were going to be very similar, and they kind of are. They're both warm browns, but 50 States Texas, of course, this is just what's left in the bottom of my first bottle, which is very little. Maybe it has darkened slightly, but I don't think so. I love it, and they're both different. So you get quite a bit of green sheen, which is very difficult for me to show on this. And then over here, I get good shading, and I get this just nice, perfectly brown that I love. I just love this ink. It's still my favorite, I think. I thought this was going to end up being my top favorite. I still love it because it's different, and so it gives you a whole different perspective on brown. And it's still not as light as SBRE brown. It's just nice and warm along those veins. So very, very nice, both of them. And you know, I feel like writing letters, they're different enough. I can use them both. So very, very good. Okay, so next up we're going to start into the TWSBI Ecos. This is the purple transparent with the Pelican 4001 Violet. And I really like this. Let's see. Wasn't this the bottle that's almost gone? I was surprised. I was actually really surprised about it. It must be that I used it a lot heavier when I first started. And you know, then I got distracted by having several bottles of purple ink, and that's what happens. But now I'm making almost a complete full circle, and I'm revisiting and finishing up some of these inks. So very, very nice. There's not much more I could say about it. I'm getting shading on the Tomoe River paper. I'm getting excellent flow and pretty happy color that I like. So it doesn't take much to please me, I guess, and as long as there's a broad nib involved. Okay, then next up is the TWSBI Eco Transparent Green with TWSBI Forest Green, which kind of plays tricks with my mind because it looks a little bit more teal when you lift it up with a water brush, but it's gorgeous. I love this ink. Yeah, it sort of surprised me that it was just sitting there, and it's only like, I've only used some of it, not very much. very nice to be using some of the things that I hadn't fully finished or used. Okay, working on several projects. Yeah, I tend to just go on about nothing in some of these entries just to see the writing. I just want to look at the writing. And these 3 pens have just really make me happier now that I put broad nibs on them. I mean, I stole the nibs off of the TWSBI Go's, so I only have one TWSBI Go left with a broad nib on it, that kind of thing, but that's okay. So far, so good. I haven't done any damage to them, so. Okay. So next is the TWSBI Orange in the TWSBI Eco Transparent Orange, and I really love this. I can see a little bit of fading. I must have been going really fast with my writing, but not enough that I lose. Oh, I made a note to myself, check and see if this ink is available still or if it was limited edition. I believe it was limited edition, but I found it like on eBay, but I didn't go much further. I just wanted to see what were the 6 original inks that were in that set, and that's when I detected that the forest green and crimson weren't in that set. So I'm trying to remember or find my documentation on where I got those 2 inks. But I love this. I love it very, very much. It's really nice. I made a mistake, so I just made a smiley face or something. So I still need to do that checking. I won't get rid of that note yet. Okay, so then next, something hit me, and I just decided I just had to have Lamy Dark Lilac 2024 inked up. So I ran and got my Lamy Safari in the Candy Violet, which was also a pen friend gift a couple years ago. And like I said, it started out with a medium nib on it, but I didn't like it. Let's see if there's any proof of that in here. I just think that I wasn't feeling that it flowed well enough in the Lamy medium nib. And you know, the interesting thing is, maybe I could have gone back down to a fine nib because I liked the fine nibs better than the medium, but I was wanting enough flow. But instead I ended up going up to the broad nib. And that actually looks really, really dark down there in the corner. But it hasn't been like that on my letter writing. And right now I'm using a Rofel writing paper, and it hasn't looked quite that dark on it, so it's been really good. And isn't that lovely when you use the water brush? Still my trusted water brush, my favorite one is this one. It has a finer tip on it, and it just brings out the beauty of it. So, oh, I was just starting with reading the book that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Some more. Okay. And then last but not least, let's see, we had a little always inked thing going on there with my gray, black, purple, and red. And then my last entry, I think, yeah, is the Van Diemen's Maryland. It's a shimmer ink in the Benu Champagne Gold Spot pen there, the pink champagne, sorry, with a broad nib. And what really interests me, though, it didn't draw out much of the color. So I was looking at this thinking, well, is it ink resistant or water resistant, I mean? But no, it didn't seem to be water resistant. It's just that, oh dear. Anyway, it didn't create the beauty that some of them do, like this, you know, where saturated so much that it just draws up all that beautiful color. But that happens quite often. This one, the Smoke Stack didn't draw out a lot of color, but what it did draw out was nice and very subtly complex. Like it gave a nice pattern. And, you know, 50 States Texas does that too. Gives you kind of a leathery look or a real worn look, but it's darker. So, and then of course there was the other one, the Diamine Amber, that didn't give a lot of, it didn't draw out much except a very pale yellow, which was interesting too. It's almost like chromatography though. So anyway, that was just really interesting to me because I thought that it was going to do the opposite. I thought it was going to be real either pinky purpley or whatever. So, but it certainly is great for the writing. I really love it. In fact, I just think it's a great combination. And you know, it's a long way in color from fuchsia, which is much pinker. So when I look at them together, I see this as maybe either mauve or purple, or it confuses me because I can be really easily confused with color with no help whatsoever. You know, I don't need any help getting confused about color. Okay, so let's see. Guess we can bring over the tray of pens and just kind of look at them. If I can make it fit in the... So, this is what I'm writing with. I mustn't have everything turned every which way. I don't like that. I like everything to be lined up. I always like the Lamy logo to be in the front. So, this is just really a lot of fun. For letter writing and having right here at my desk, ready to go. I've got the portable case going and a couple stragglers that are my always inked, but these are my letter writing pens for this month, and they've really done well. Another experiment will be taking the Diamine Amber and getting it into something that may lay down a lot more ink, because I love the color. I want that consistent, and I want it to be super readable. I don't know whether it's possible or not. Probably it is. I can think of a few instances where I've seen the difference it makes if it's either a flex nib or a vintage nib, or like I said, a pilot parallel, I guess, something with a really wide, that puts down a lot of ink. So I think right now we'll flip the camera around, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the book I'm reading and kind of just tie in some off topics. So if you're not interested in that, I won't be offended. Don't worry if you depart now. So I'll see you over there. There, I made it without accidentally stopping the video and having to splice two together. That's good. So I'm still reading this book, Antinet Zettelkasten, and I'm on page 204. And I wanted to talk about it just a little bit more because one of the things that I learned right away when I started to study this, what it is, it's a note box system, you know, so it's an analog way of keeping notes and thoughts, and it's I don't want to not do it justice, because after all, I'm not even halfway through the book yet, but what I can talk about is what I learned about making a bibliography card, which I'm surprised, being 60 years old, I never had to do that. I had to do bibliography listings for papers that I wrote, but I never did know about or learn about or think, oh my God, my hair is terrible. Don't look at my hair, please. Oh, geez. I'd been outside working this morning, and anyway, it's a disaster. Talk about getting distracted. So it's a really neat system, and I hadn't learned about making a bibliography card. So I've got my bibliography card that I'm keeping on this book, and I predict that I'll have to have at least one more card front and back, maybe two, but I'm not taking notes on every single bit of it. I'm reading through real smoothly. I'm not sitting up at a table, treating it like a textbook. For the first read through, I'm really reading it the way I like to read, which is just straight through. So this is the front of my big bibliography card. Right here, where I've just put, you know, the author's name, and then I guess as topic I did put Zettelkasten, but in retrospect I might have put something broader like note-taking, or I don't know. It could be that I just am not sure yet because I'm still formulating my ideas. And, you know, I put who gave me the book. I would normally put where I ordered it from, and then I put my purpose for reading it, and my purpose is to learn about analog Zettelkasten and decide if I should start one. So that's where I was at, you know, at my purpose for reading it. My agreeing that, sure, you know, with my friend, okay, if you want to send it to me, that's wonderful. I looked up about it. You know, I was given that question before she sent it. And I looked up about it, and it looked like me. Like it looked a lot like me. Anyway, and on the back, I just take notes with the page number and little notes. And I can, you know, actually this little note card is a nice thing to be able to speak from. So I left a little column on the left because there's another person. I ran across some of her videos, and she's an older lady like me, and she said that she likes to leave a column in case she makes a card for her Zettelkasten about an individual note that she made. Like if she expands and makes a card, then she wants to be able to come back in and put where that's located. And I thought that was brilliant. I mean, that's even if you didn't do this with a card file, even if you did this, if you only kept bibliography cards on the books you read, and then you were to come back in here and say maybe which notebook it's in. And that's just me, you know, speculating, because I don't know exactly how I'm going to handle the whole subject going forward yet. I know that I gathered all my index cards and found some perfectly suitable, they were Tupperware modular mates. They were shorter and long, and they make the perfect little file box. It's almost like a little shoe box, only it's the right width, it's the right height for a 4x6 card. So I felt very fortunate because I didn't then have that burning desire to purchase something. I already have it, and I could put my index cards right in there. And if I don't develop further than just bibliography cards, then, you know, I won't need all that, and I could put that thing back in my kitchen. See, I don't waste things. I'm very, multiple purposes for things, I'm big on that. So, yeah, so I thought I'd share it with you because it seems so simple and so, like, I can't believe I never kept bibliography cards before. And I have notebooks where I have to look in the index to see, or I will tab the notebook if I have, like, say, 3 different books I've read and there are notes from those books. I'll tab the notebook, but that's still kind of a bulky way of doing things. You don't need the entire, especially if you still have the book, you don't need an entire notebook full of notes on each book, I don't think, unless it is a subject that's extremely ongoing for you and that you're really into it. So, gosh, I guess that's pretty much, oh yeah. Okay, so on the other side of my little notes, I put, yeah, I had to look back and see what was included in that TWSBI 6-set ink set. And it was the 1791, the little TWSBI 18 mil. So they included emerald green, sky blue, royal purple, which turned out to be like one of my very favorite purples. And I've gone on and on about that many times. Pink, which is gone now. I think I passed that along. I thought it was too light for me, which is interesting. I'd like to see it now. I'm sure I retained at least a 2 mil sample because at the time I was still comparing inks. So that's something I can pull out and look at. I need a Zettelkasten just for my ink. I mean, seriously, you know, just to know what I have and just to be able to look it up easily rather than to just, I know what that sounds like. It's not something I'm going to do today, but it's something I'm going to look at. I now will not give up on trying to really have a representation somewhere on paper of what I have in inks, because I haven't been able to do that. I don't have the patience to do another great big spreadsheet. I don't like spreadsheets, so it's enough the one I have on my fountain pens. Where was I? Pink, okay, pink, orange, and green, prairie green. So that told me that forest green and crimson red didn't come in that 6 set. So I'm really interested in tracking back down, maybe finding out if I did order those. Because I remember reordering royal purple as a separate, at the time it was $6 for the ink bottle. I bet you it's more than that now. I want to say I ordered that from Van Ness. But anyway, I'm excited today because there's a lot going on, but today's the 15th and I like to do this video on the 15th or close to it. Unless it's February, I might do it on the 14th. And also, I have a lot going on coming up next week, so I wanted to make sure that this video got out today, and hopefully, let's see, as we approach the 3rd week, that's when I like to do our PenFast chat, And those are pretty informal, and I'm sure that that'll get done. But I'll be squeezed in between because there's just all of a sudden there's a flare up of appointments going on. There's Zoom appointments and eye appointments and doctor appointments and everything for across 4 different people, and I'm not one of them, but I'm involved in the process. So my eye appointments I think are usually in April. So okay, I guess there's not a lot of other things. You know, it's funny, I feel like I like to talk better in the library room, but this work area here, I don't have to move any furniture when I'm gonna flip the camera around, so I'm just being a little bit lazy. But when we do our pen chat, it's all just one take, and it's all right there in the library, so I'll look forward to that, because I seem to feel a little calmer and less, like here I can see everything everybody's doing, and the cats running by and getting in their little boxes and stuff. So and they're doing really good, by the way, all 3 of them. So I think we'll just leave it at that. I think I've talked enough. And if you were, how about if you put in the comments whether or not you'd be interested when I finish this book in my full review of the book. It may or may not influence me, because I kind of have a feeling I'm going to want to do a book report on the book anyway. But I am interested to know how many people in this community are actually interested in an analog card system, and it would be a curiosity for me. So let's meet in the comments, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you there, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.